My brother-in-law called me a coward for refusing to raise another man's child. He told me to be a man and stay, not knowing I'd spent the last 3 weeks silently documenting every cent my wife and business partner stole to fund their affair. He thought he was schooling a victim. He didn't realize he was talking to the man who had already dismantled their entire future. Welcome to Family Revenge. Drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from, because today, we're talking about the high price of a lie. My name is Caleb Vance. I'm 38. I'm an architect. I built my firm, Vance & Associates, from a two-man shop into a powerhouse. My business partner, Julian, was the best man at my wedding. He's the guy who cried when we signed our first big contract. I trusted him with my life. On Friday, February 11th, my life changed in 4 minutes. Elena had left her old phone charging on the counter. No passcode. The iCloud had restored itself overnight. I wasn't snooping. I just picked it up to move it. The first message was from Julian. It said, "Caleb is at the airport. I'm coming over." I sat at that kitchen table for 1 hour and 10 minutes. I watched my coffee go stone cold. I read 11 months of history. I read about the work trips that were actually weekend retreats. I read about how they laughed at me for working 14-hour days in Seattle while they were using my money to fund their secret world. When Elena came downstairs at 8:30 a.m. and asked what I wanted for dinner, I looked at her and realized she wasn't the woman I married. She was just a stranger living in my house. I told her to surprise me. And believe me, the surprise was coming. For the next 3 weeks, I became a ghost. I didn't yell. I didn't throw plates. Why? Because rage is a fire that burns out, but a legal document is a frost that lasts forever. Every night, I'd wait until Elena was asleep, and I'd go sit in my truck in the driveway. I'd set a timer for 15 minutes. That was my time to grieve, to feel the humiliation, to feel the bone-deep pain of being betrayed by the two people I loved most. When the timer dinged, I wiped my eyes and went back inside. I spent those nights in my home office with the door locked. I pulled every company credit card statement from the last 2 years. I found the pattern. 22 hotel charges. 22 client dinners that never happened. I found the receipt for the $800 watch Julian was wearing, bought with money Elena told her mother was for car repairs. I was building a cage out of paper and ink. I found Section 14, subsection C of our partnership agreement. It stated that any partner found using company assets for personal misconduct could be forcibly bought out at 10% of market value. Julian hadn't just stolen my wife. He had handed me his half of the company for pennies on the dollar. March 2nd arrived. Elena finally told me she was pregnant. She cried and said it was a moment of weakness that got out of hand. Then the reinforcements arrived. Her mother, Linda, and her brother, Marcus. They sat in my living room like a panel of judges. Linda spoke about grace and how the child is innocent. Marcus called me a hero if I stayed, and a coward if I left. I looked at Marcus, this man who thought he knew me, and I just nodded. I let them believe they were winning. I let them think I was the bigger man who was going to pay for Julian's child. I waited until they were all comfortable. I waited until they thought the crisis was over. Then I struck. Monday morning. Julian arrived at the office thinking it was just another day. He found a certified courier at his desk. The dissolution notice. By 10 a.m., his keycard was deactivated. By 11 a.m., our clients had been notified that Vance & Associates was now Vance Creative, under my sole ownership. Julian was legally barred from the building. Then I met Linda for coffee. I didn't say, "I told you so." I just slid the blue folder across the table. I watched her read about the watch. I watched her read about the hotel rooms on the night Sarah told her she was working late. The light went out in Linda's eyes. She realized her daughter wasn't a victim of a mistake. She was a thief. I met Marcus next. I didn't say a word. I just showed him the hotel logs that overlapped with the times Elena claimed to be visiting family. I asked Marcus, "Who really walked away from this family?" He couldn't answer. He just stared at the page. I'm Caleb Vance. People ask me if I'm lonely in my new office. I tell them no. I'm surrounded by the only things that matter: honesty and hard work. Julian lost the firm and is now working as a junior drafter for a rival company. Elena lost the house and her family's blind support. I didn't raise that child, but I did raise the bar for what it means to be a man. A real man doesn't just accept a lie. He audits it, he executes the plan, and he builds his future better than before. If you've ever had to start over from zero, hit that like button and subscribe.